Tony Britt Spotter Charts serves sports media exclusively with customized cheat sheets for both prep and game time. Serving over 350 clients at all major networks, 23 NFL teams, and 68 college football programs, including Division II, Division III, and NAIA schools. Variable pricing ensures that small schools receive the same VIP service as ABC, CBS, ESPN, Fox, NBC, and the NFL Network. Ray's Barbershop provides first-class service, haircutting, and shaves since 2010. With 6 locations located within the Quad Cities area, Ray's Barbershop has been voted the Quad Cities' favorite barbershop year after year. Ray's goes above and beyond to make sure your level of satisfaction is met. You won't find the Ray's experience anywhere else. Stop in today and let them help you reinvent yourself. Welcome to the Viking Press Pass. I am Matthew Nickel, and joining me tonight, wide receiver for the Vikings, Ethan Vrabec. So, Ethan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Vikings 6-2 overall, 5-2 in the conference. Man, this offense they're doing their thing, right? A great bounce back week. Yep. Let's talk a little about the Titan game. I mean, big win, 42-21. A nice bounce back win, a nice dominating bounce back win. Against a team that, I really thought could get into a track meet. So the defense also, they did a really nice job, down on their end as well. But tell me just a little bit about, what the team's kind of thoughts were, as you were, in your individual huddles and as you guys kind of connected after the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's a big win with these last 2 regular season games coming up. To get a big one like that against Wesleyan, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. So, obviously we're all excited, but we know what's ahead. We have 2 tough opponents coming up, so we celebrated Saturday. We enjoyed that one, but it's on to the next. So our focus is on Carthage now. So
how long? All right. So how long do you get to celebrate, any win before you really got to start shifting? I mean, because I know the JV games. I think the JV games are now done. I think the last one was maybe last weekend. So, are you guys starting to, hold meetings and do some of those things on Sundays, or do you get kind of a day to decompress until Monday?
So we still do the off day on Sunday. So kind of we'll just do stuff on our own, watch film from the previous game or move on to next week's game. It's basically just your day to do what you like with it. And then Monday morning, we're back in meetings, lifts, and then obviously practice. So Sunday's still an off day for everyone, even after the JV season's over. So, yeah.
So what do you like to do on Sunday just to kind of unwind from the game, the previous day?
So my roommates and I, we live in a house on campus. So in our living room, we have like 3 or 4 TVs set up. So we're just watching NFL pretty much all day. That's how we like to spend our Sundays, just chilling on the couch most of the day and watching football.
I like it. So what team do you follow?
I mean, I'm a Bears fan, so that game today was almost gave me a heart attack, but we came out on top. So
it's all you can Caleb Williams, man, he got me a lot of fantasy points today, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Big one. Yeah.
So after the game, I'm always curious. I never obviously get a chance to experience it. After the game, you guys have your individual huddles. What were some of the things you guys talked about in your wide receiver, circle up there at the end of the game?
I think just, we took advantages of opportunities when they were there. And, obviously Sean, had some big catches, 2 touchdowns. So, just congratulate each other. Adam Gallagher had a few big catches. So he was kind of unsung hero of that game, if I guess you call it that. So just I think the ability of guys stepping up, that was something that we definitely talked about. So just yeah, positive vibes. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean Gallagher, 2 catches for 50 yards. So that
yeah,
one was like 38.
yeah,
I know that was
yeah,
the name I was like I didn't have on my, on my spotter board, so I had to go to the wall real quick and grab that number of his. So
yeah.
yeah, nine was it nine different? Let's see, one, two, three, six different receivers, 19 catches, 259 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean that includes Jake Miller. So
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Big boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
Um,
beast.
you know, I was thinking a little bit about, last, couple home games. I've always posted in the Augie tailgate, kind of my keys to the game. And one of the things, there's a couple of things I talked about offensively, right? Take care of the football, run the ball, get on some short third downs. And really the one thing as I was looking at their defense was, I thought Jake Miller had a really good mismatch opportunity coming into this week. 5 for 59 and 3 touchdowns. Like he had 3 touchdowns coming in. Like this has been, a good season for him. But
Oh yeah.
offensively, like what was kind of the game plan and how did that change a bit coming into, the Titans and maybe what you've done the last few weeks?
We knew that we were going to be able to attack their secondary. We found that as one of their weaker points on their defense. So just getting the ball down the field, which clearly, we were able to do. And then, we were able to go to Ben Ludlam in the run game, who obviously had a great game. So yeah, we were just able to attack them where we thought they were weakest, and clearly ended up working out. So
Well, I had mentioned on the call during the game, but even thinking about, kind of post game here, man, those 5 and 10 yard flattened out routes were there all the time.
yeah,
Lincoln, Ben, or Josh out into the flat, dumping that ball. Man, those are always wide open. And it even seemed like that kind of second tier in between there. I'm assuming they were maybe moving to a cover two, it kind of looked like. Um, even that was just wide open. So yeah, it definitely felt like you were able to kind of exploit them and exploit that area of the field quite often. And, um, was it the second drive when, you guys elected to punt because it was fourth and what 3, I think, from their 45. And I'm like, man, as well as we've been moving the ball and, those outsides have been wide open. I'm like, just throw it to you or Sean and like a little
yeah,
5 or 7 out route real quick and punted it. And I was sitting here kind of like, is this going to be a missed opportunity maybe for the game? Thinking about historically how close these teams have played against each other. But man, it worked out well. It worked out well.
yeah.
So um, so you guys are 6-2. 2 games left. You have Carthage. I know this is a premature question to ask you, but I'm asking it anyway. Is there talk on the team around like Isthmus Bowl is now the goal?
I mean, yeah. Obviously we're aiming to play more than 10 games. Obviously, playoffs would be awesome, but at this point our chances are getting slimmer of that. So whatever we can do to play, that 11th game, we're locked in for that. So yeah,
Man, it's looking like it's going to be stout from the WIAC. So yeah, man, it's awesome. Go win at Carthage. Then we host. Assuming WashU's going to beat North Park, and then it's the Isthmus Bowl qualifier at home. So senior day, man, could be a big one.
yeah,
Now this is clearly your best year so far. You're having a great year. I mean, you can see the one-handed Odell Beckham,
yeah.
signature catch he made there.
I
That
love
was
that.
okay. I got to ask you. I mean, after that, I mean, you were pretty pumped, on the sideline. But have you gone back and watched that play and walk me through just like going up and snagging that? Like walk me through that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we were on the 9 yard line. Maybe we were within the 10. I know that, and we had a double fade call tag to the run, and we were it's kind of something that we were throwing all week in practice and scout team. So, I knew there was a good chance, with that matchup, that Jimmy was going to go to me there, and I felt like I had a good release off the ball. Then just tried to find some open space and saw the ball in the air. Honestly, I thought it was going to go over my head, because of the way that I kind of had to turn my body, and I just kind of at the last second stuck my hand up, reached back as far as I could, and it just landed in my hand, and the rest is what it is. So it was a pretty cool moment.
It was pretty cool. You've made some pretty big catches, um, throughout your career. Do you think this is probably the biggest yet so far, though?
I'd say so. Yeah. For me personally, I'd say yeah. That's definitely been my favorite one and probably my biggest one so far. So
Absolutely. And to have them like, to have, two photographers there to like capture that moment so perfect
yeah,
was
yeah,
freaking awesome.
yeah. Those pictures were awesome.
What do you think has been helping? I was just looking at some of the stats this year and offensively, what the Vikings are doing in the passing game. Um, it's honestly almost one of the best years, and kind of on pace to be one of the best years in the offensive passing game for the Vikings all time, in Augustana history. What do you think is helping to contribute to so much success on the offense so far this year?
I think we're just playing with a lot more confidence than we have in the past. Especially with guys getting more experience, being more experienced, and just obviously Jimmy was new to the squad this year, but a lot of us have been playing together for 2 or 3 years now. So I think we kind of just this is the year that we finally just all kind of started to gel together, as one unit, and I mean clearly it's been working. So yeah,
Well, it seems like too offensively, you're mixing things up. I'm noticing two or three different style of plays, kind of throughout the game. I'm like, ooh, that's new. That's a little bit, of a different wrinkle to it. Oh, that was a little bit of a different route combination. Do you feel like you guys are having a little bit more fun and being a little bit more creative even this year in the offense than maybe, last year, or even 2 years ago?
yeah, I do. I think you know with some of the guys we've added this year, it's just been able to open up our offense a lot more. Give more guys opportunities. We're not just relying on one receiver every game. We have. I mean, we've seen 3, 4, 5 receivers, all in one game. Have big games. So when you have something like that, it obviously makes it more fun for us to be able to scheme things up, and then it makes it really difficult for the defense, because they got to focus on so many different guys who can do so many different things.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. 'Cause, I mean, you've got obviously you, Mikey Brosnan, Sean, Jake Miller took off. We talked about Adam Gallagher. Smith went down, earlier in the season. There's 7 or 8 guys here. That's not even, you get Brett Holcomb in, you get Liam Peterson in, you get Stapleton in. Like there's so many different targets, that you guys can move and do things differently with it, which is awesome. I mean, there's probably not a single person that can't play slot, can't go out on their own and run a solo route, can't make a great catch after a run. Um, yeah, the way this entire offense is clicking, and even the offensive line this year has been playing pretty damn solid, which is awesome. So I mean, even seeing freshmen, JJ Sagales, I mean, him in the starting
Yep.
lineup, and him stepping up. It's hard. It's rare to see a freshman step into a prominent role like that, and have so much success. So, Um, man, a lot of great stuff. A lot of great
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Um, Now I was digging through your X account, um, and you had posted about running like a sub 1 second 10 yard fly time. I saw some of your treadmill workouts, hitting 17, 18 miles an hour on the treadmill before college. Now, 3 years afterwards, how do you feel like those kind of physical benchmarks have kind of translated to your performance, so far at Augustana?
Yeah. I mean, I think, just it's definitely benefited me a lot. I wasn't very fast. I wasn't very strong in high school. And then I started going to Galgano Performance Systems (GPS). And Cam there, he does a really good job with a lot of young athletes. Just making them more explosive, stronger. So that definitely helped me coming in. I felt like that was something that I needed in order to move on to the college level and be successful. So it's definitely helped me out a lot.
So what are some of like the physical benchmarks that, the Vikings focus on, in the strength and conditioning program?
We obviously focus on core lifts, such as squat, bench, um, hang clean, but it goes far beyond that. We do a lot of you know speed work, and just every part of the body we're kind of working. We like every week we do like neck workouts. We do kind of a little bit of everything. So just to be ultra prepared for Saturday, and clearly this year it's been working out. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing in the weight room, for that's for sure.
Now, is there anything that Carter, who's now on the staff, that's kind of introduced, any new things that he has the wide receivers doing that, is new to the group this year since he's, started coming on and getting more involved in some of the strength and conditioning, workouts and programs and some of those things?
Yeah, I mean I feel like we're focusing more, um, not necessarily in season on being like working on our maxes. We're more focused on maintaining our strength. So every week we're doing high reps on bench, and then increasingly we decrease the reps, increase weight. So it's kind of just so you could stay strong. We're not trying to do anything crazy here in season. It's kind of all about maintaining strength, and I think he's done a great job with that thus far. So
Um, how do you like to recover, after a game? Are you kind of a ice bath guy? You a hot shower guy? You know, is there particular food? Kind of rest, get your legs up. I always like to get my legs up and kind of get them elevated a little bit and get some of the pressure off of them. How do you like to typically recover after a game?
yeah, I'm not a huge cold bath guy. I'm not in the chill tub a lot. I'm more of a warm shower guy. And then Sunday, like I said earlier, laying on the couch watching football, I'll elevate my legs. I'll stretch, drink a lot of water. I try to eat well on Sundays. That doesn't
Always
always
work.
work out that way, but I try. And yeah, kind of just like to lay around, not do really too much physical activity on Sundays, so I can have my body rested and ready to go for Monday.
So who's in the house with you?
So I live with actually all defensive players, which might come as a shock. So I live with Frank Lackney, who's a linebacker, Owen Keeney, and then two former Augie football players, Jack Lyons and Colin Byrne.
So what's the Sunday spread look like, food wise? I know, like you said, you like to try and keep it as healthy as possible, but what's the Sunday spread look like for the games?
Well, usually after home games, we have a lot of leftover food from the tailgate that our parents just give to us. So we'll usually have a bunch of like burgers or hot dogs, all that stuff, just sit in our fridge. We just throw it in the microwave or the air fryer, and that's basically what we eat all day on Sundays. We don't really do anything too crazy. Kind of just we eat whatever's in our fridge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of what we do on Sundays. Nothing crazy usually.
Um, well, let's switch. Well, I guess before I switch gears, what who has the best kind of tailgate food? I haven't really, asked that so far this year. I know there was a Halloween theme of some things that the parents were doing. But food wise, I know there's some breakfast going on before the game, and then obviously you have the post game meal. What are some of your favorite things around the tailgate?
Personally, I don't really go around all the tents, and like I kind of just eat at my tent. Whatever my parents are making, and usually it'll be, some burgers, hot dogs, brats, whatever it is. My dad and Mr. Lackney, Frank's dad, they do a pretty good job on the grill. So I'm usually eating a burger or dog, and then my mom usually makes some pasta salad, which is usually pretty good. So and then they just got a bunch of snacks laid out. So I kind of, when it comes to eating, kind of stay in my own you know area.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, let's change a little bit of gears because as I was going through and kind of looking at your, X account and doing a bunch of just kind of research leading up to, getting a chance to talk with you. You visited a ton of different schools. Some that are even within our conference. Um, Drake, out in Iowa. That's actually someone I visited too. But how did you land on knowing Augustana was kind of the right fit for you?
Yeah. So I came on probably 4 or 5 visits here. Before I made the official decision. It was probably the school that I had visited the most out of any other school. And it just felt right. Talking to Coach Bell, in the conference room, my parents, he just really made it feel like home. And then meeting other coaches, players, is obviously a great school. Nice campus, and everything just felt right. Um, and I think I made the right decision.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. I would never change my decision. So yeah, just felt like the right place to me, and still does. So
It's funny when you say it felt like the right decision, and because I can still remember my recruiting visit, to Augie. Actually, I can remember pretty much all my different visits, and I never walked away. I remember I left on a Saturday. I drove to my house, and my mom's like, "Oh, how'd it go?" I was like, "Great. I'm actually grabbing clothes. I'm going back for another night." Because all the guys, oh, you got to come back for another night and have some fun and all this stuff. So I was like, oh heck yeah, absolutely. So, but you just kind of you knew when it felt like family. You knew when it felt like it was the right spot for you. And something about the Viking team, the tradition, the program, the campus, and everybody there as well. Um, it's always seemed like a right fit, and you're an accounting and finance major. So how or why did you land on being accounting and finance?
my dad was an accountant for I think like 36 years, something like that. Um, and he would always travel all around to different states, and it was quite the lifestyle for him. I think towards the end he kind of started to cool down, but he enjoyed going to all these different places, and he was able to spend a lot of time with the family, and that's just something that down the road I want to be able to do with my family. So I didn't know much about really what I wanted to do. I think out of high school, I was just going to major in finance, and then I took an accounting class my freshman year. So I kind of went down the accounting road as well, and then I'm majoring in business management as well. So that's another one I picked up. So
You got a full workload.
yeah, yeah, it's a lot, but you get it done.
Are you gonna be able to get it done in 4 years, or will you have to do the an additional fall term?
No, I'll be as of right now. I'm set to graduate after the four. So
I like it. Have you
yeah,
have you started looking at internships or kind of secured anything for next year yet? I know this is the big campus recruiting season, so
yeah, yeah. No, I haven't secured anything yet, but I've been looking. I've been applying to a lot. I've been trying to reach out. So yeah, I'm still looking, but hopefully here soon I'll find something.
are you looking, to kind of go back and be near home, or are you open and looking to stay somewhere here, like within the Quad Cities?
I think I'm looking for something more back home, maybe in Chicago. That's probably probably where I want to be in the summer.
All right, all right. Well, hey, if you're looking for an internship, I am over our talent acquisition team, so I have some good networks with our campus recruiting team. So I could probably make a few phone calls and get you an interview if you're ever looking.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll
um,
keep that in mind.
absolutely, absolutely. Now I found something I thought was kind of interesting. Now we're going to go back to 2022 from your X feed. Who or maybe what were the juiceful jumpers?
Oh, so in high school, we in the off season we did like an off season program where they'd elect like I think like 6 to 8 guys as like the captains of these teams, and they would draft different guys like from the program, from freshman to senior, and we all kind of came up with these goofy names. I don't think mine was. I think mine was Route 30 Rainmakers because that's the road that our school is on. Our high school is on. So I kind of came up with that one, and then there were some other funny ones like Juiceful Jumpers. Um, but yeah, that was just something fun that we did in the off season. I think we called it TTT. I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
um, yeah, and so we'd get some guys together, and we'd all draft a team. We all dressed up for the draft day, drafted a team, and then we would just do competitions, whether it was in the weight room or on the field. And yeah, it was definitely something cool we did that brought us together and made us better. So
I like it. I like it. There's a lot of
yeah,
creativity to that. Um,
yeah.
who was running the Lem Repic account?
I
Not
think
like
that I think that was our head coach. I think yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah. It was
I
pretty
saw
funny.
I'm hearing weak on speed and need possible GPA boost. Better pull through on those finals. I was like,
Yeah,
I
no,
love it. I love
he had some funny tweets there.
it. um, what's something about you, that maybe many people maybe don't know about you?
So I think a lot of people learned this about me after we went on the trip to Europe. But I actually have a twin brother. His name is Nolan. He goes to Illinois State. And I think before the trip, I don't think a lot of people knew that about me that I had a twin, but I do, and I think a lot of people learned that. And for anyone that doesn't know, now you know.
Oh, all right. No, I had no idea. I had
Yeah,
no idea.
yep.
Um, so like, is it um identical twin? Just hey, you guys look
No,
pretty darn close, or is it
no.
like
I could show you a picture for reference. It's my background because whenever anyone asks me if I look like my twin, I just show them this. So that's might be hard to see, but that's him.
Okay.
And that's me, my
All
grandpa.
right.
Yeah, we
Oh
don't look
yeah.
much
Okay.
alike. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like it. I
So
like it.
yeah, don't really look alike, but we're twins.
I like it. Um, what's been a favorite memory, so far, just kind of over the course of your Augie career? Maybe a couple memories.
Um, a few I could think of. I think my freshman year was the first year that we beat Wash U, and I didn't play a single snap that game. But I think just being there and being a part of it, seeing all the hard work that those juniors and seniors had put in through the years, to finally beat them. I thought just being able to be a part of that was really cool. It was really special. So that's definitely one that comes to mind. And then I'd say that Carroll game a few weeks ago, and I think that's that's one I'll remember forever. Just the way it went down, and the catch, obviously. So that's one I'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, those are awesome memories. The Wash U game has come up as several people's memories. It's actually probably one of my more favorite recent memories. 'Cause, I don't historically I haven't done a lot of away games in terms of just traveling and kind of being part of the parent group and hang out and but I decided, you know what, I really want to go to this Wash U game because it has a lot of like Isthmus Bowl implications and the team was doing so well and Wash U had been in it back to back years. Then we went down there and beat up on them. That was one of the most fun times. I probably hugged more dads at the top of their stands, jumping around, and that
Yeah,
was a ton of fun. It's fun to just kind of go and be a fan, occasionally.
yeah,
So I love it. Well, hopefully we'll get to relive that here in 2 weeks. So
absolutely.
um, well, hey, well, lastly, we'll kind of end it on this. If there's anyone in particular you'd like to thank, give shout outs to, any final thoughts you have or things you want to talk about, floor's all yours.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I want to thank my parents, obviously. Without them, I wouldn't be here right now. So, they've been a huge help throughout this whole process. They've been by my side through the whole thing. So I want to thank them. I want to thank my siblings, Claire, Colin, Nolan. They've always been by my side as well. Growing up with them, it's been an absolute joy. My grandpa, he's he's one of the lights of my life. So just being able to keep in touch with him and see him when I'm at home, that makes me happy. And just my fellow teammates, coaches, who have made this journey, incredible so far, and we're gonna keep going. So yeah.
Now, did your grandpa? I have a soft spot for grandpas. He was my
Yeah.
best friend before he had passed. Does he get a chance to come down and watch you in person, or does he watch most of the games on the stream?
He has not made it to a college game. He doesn't move around too well anymore. So I think maybe he'll catch one on the stream every now and then, but he's yet to make it to an Augie game. He actually made it to one of my high school games. So that was a pretty special moment. One that I'll remember.
I like it. Well, if maybe here at the Washi game, hopefully we'll have a better streaming experience than we had this past Saturday. But I can give him, hopefully he'll be able to watch and give him a quick shout out.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. No, I think I think anytime a friendship and the relationship with your grandpa, I think is so awesome. It's so unique to anyone. I've got my grandpa's, signature from when he enlisted in the military, tattooed on my arm and his Air Force number and some other stuff. So, yeah, so it's awesome. There's been a couple grandpas that have been, brought up on these interviews. And so it's special, man. It's special. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Ethan, I know it's late here on Sunday, so I'll let you go. But again, thanks for connecting with me here tonight. Again, good luck this weekend as you guys head up to Carthage and play the Firebirds. So go get that W so that we can come home and get another win against Wash U, and then again, let's go play that 11th game. So again,
Absolutely.
have a great night. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
If you like today's episode, make sure to just subscribe to the Viking Press Pass.
4 letters, 1 year, word. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet!